what's the key that unlocks our behavior patterns and relationships. And I think a lot of our listeners would like to hear more about Papaji and your experience with Papaji, because I think there's a tremendous interest about that, and we all believe in Papaji because so many of his lovers, are actually talking about and sharing what they got from him. And so then we think, in our terms of like efficiency, he's a really good master because he makes a lot of people aware.
That's right.
And other masters apparently say nothing really works. You can't you can lead the horse to water but can't make him drink, kind of thing, right? But what is it about Papaji that was so magnetic and so effective?
Well, he was a master of devices. He was rather like, you could say, a Zen master, where you could never predict. You might be in a satsang, a talk with him. Each morning he held his satsangs, and 10 people might have gone up in front of you, and he's laughing and playing with them, and you think, great, this is a good moment to ask my question. I'll go up, and you go up, and he just slaughters you. Cuts your head off with a veritable knife. So you could never, but he'll come in with some unpredictable way, sometimes in words and sometimes in actions, where he just is going to give you that sudden wake-up call that can propel you into your own freedom, and very hard to predict when or how that might come. So in that way he was a master, and he did see, it was like being with radiant consciousness that could see every single thing about you. So I used to feel like he saw everything that was great about me, but he also saw everything, all my inadequacies very clearly, and all perhaps my past lives, my future lives, that he saw right through me, everything about me. But then still to feel that his unconditional love was there for you, while seeing you totally, was a huge relief, really. This unconditional love that even my very loving parents could never give me, that kind of unconditional love that Papaji could give. So everyone felt very personally, individually addressed and touched by him, and he would do his best to put you in the moment and get you to awaken in that very second, there and now, in front of him. So that was one of the great things about him.
I suppose I was feeling very inadequate as a child, and so then those masters that were kind of shocking or could spot me out, I would probably feel very naked and very inferior, like.
Well, yes, I mean, you think that, but then when you actually go and sit in front of him, because he is this all enlightened, radiant being, somehow you immediately just melts away from you all those feelings of inadequacy, and you feel so seen. So if he's loving you that much, while seeing all that incredible, the problems and the difficulties and the tendencies that you have, then in a way, who am I? What kind of ego am I to say, Papi, you're wrong. You don't know me, you don't know all those terrible things about me, Who am I to say that? So in a way you have to accept, you have to get humbled, and you're like, gosh, well, he's loving me so much, how come I can't love myself, Okay, let's give it a go. So I think that was one of his great gifts.
I heard some people, when they speak, they kind of make you see how silly certain little petty things are that you think are so huge, and so serious, and then you start to laugh, right?
Yes.
But another way might be just that there's so much love there that you just feel so warm,
Exactly. You're just in this huge loving nest. So and then he would do that too. You'd have this burning question, that you've fretted about all your life, and you managed to get it down on paper in some way to, give it to him, and then he reads it, and particularly towards the end, when he was in his 80s and he really didn't care what anyone thought anymore, then he would he'd read it out wrong. He'd change words to make it the most funny thing that anyone had ever, and the whole room would burst out laughing, And he just ridiculed this terribly serious letter of yours, and make you see that, gosh, and not only is it not it's not my personal issue, it's actually humanity's. Everyone has the same issue, but also it's a joke in the big picture. It doesn't matter at all. So he was very good at that. That's what he did. Yeah.
What works best for me is just to feel like I'm totally received. Somehow I'm just so received, and then I can just spit out my worst or my best and just be received. And then it takes. Not all are like that though, because they just want to skip over the bad parts, or they want to. They just said, "Let's get to the meat of it." These are peripheral arguments, but I don't say go on and on. But I mean, something like that comes to me to say.
But he would also, if you had some terrible thing that you thought was really your terrible secret, he would just sort of, say it out loud in front of everyone and just laugh, and so how can you, didn't seem so big after a while. Yeah.
But that kind of worked, or was it just the love that worked? I mean, because you can laugh at yourself, but then it doesn't really deconstruct, does it?
Well, I think it can take a lot of the drive out of it, a lot of the, the feeling of this thing that you have to keep to yourself. And as we know, once something is really seen and really brought up into your consciousness, it no longer rules you. It only rules you when it's unconscious and pushed down and hidden. And as soon as you're totally clear and you've totally met it and really experienced it totally, then it loses its charge and fades out all on its own. So things just have to be seen clearly. So when he might reveal that thing to everyone in the room, then it's like, okay, better drop it. But I think if it hadn't had that unconditional love behind it, it wouldn't have worked. Yeah. Everyone needed to feel that they were totally loved by him personally, which is what he did.
So people sit with you sometimes.
Yeah.
In a similar mode. And what would you say that you've taken from Papa? Have you taken anything from Papaji? Kind of like that kind of skill level, or that kind of, I don't know, what could I call it?
Yes. So in inspired moments, that touch comes. It surprises me sometimes how it can come out, or I can just say, somebody I don't know, and then I just find words coming out and saying something, and then later maybe someone will tell me, oh God, that was exactly right for that person who I didn't know. So I used to feel that happened with Papaji too, that it was almost like existence worked through him, and he didn't even necessarily know what he was saying, how appropriate what he was saying to someone was. He didn't know anything about them. So sometimes he'd slam, a young 20-year-old girl who looked so pretty, and you're like, what are you doing, Papaji, But then later you'd hear her circumstances and realize what he'd said was immaculate. So, it was something that came through him almost without his doing even, because he was such an open channel. The wisdom of existence could work through him in mysterious ways.
I guess maybe what I'm asking you is a very interesting question, and it's kind of like if there really is a lineage. I ask you if there's something of Papaji that you really apply, and or is it just the insight that he gave you, and of course the respect you have for him because of that experience. In that case, it's just you, and well, you or the absence of you, however you want to phrase it, but it's just you as a channel that just sees what's appropriate for this moment. So
yes, but I think I did learn I saw Papaji do it in so many ways that I learned to trust how it works, let's put it like that. I learned to trust, to allow the moment to reveal and the sentences to just come out, and to trust that they'll be appropriate.
Yeah, well, I mean, even I do that without any master, you know, because I don't really remember too many things, and so then I'll just get into a sentence, and I won't have anything idea what I'm saying, even 3 words away from what I'm trying to do, and the word won't be coming, and I'll just put a couple of prepositions out and just think something will come in that hole. You know, I mean, it's really right on the edge, but it's not really a spiritual technique or anything. It was just like, you know, that's how we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's a combination of it took being with him, that's for sure. I don't think I would have found freedom on my own so easily. Although, even then when I was 21, I had a whole experience of freedom where I was on my own. So.
But you've been with other masters too, that we don't have to really go through them all. But I mean, and let's not try to rank them or anything like that. But could it have been, if you had never met Papaji, that you would have just clarified yourself on your next path, or? Yeah,
maybe. One will never know.
Right, you'll never know.
Yeah, but I did feel like it was an immense help. That's for sure. And I did incorporate his philosophy into my being, and then it took its own form in me, like as the next generation, if you like. So, you know, I don't have all the same belief system as Papaji at all. But
no, how could you? Because,
of course.
You're not in a
and at the same
Indian
time,
culture.
He was very influential.
Right. I think where I want to go, you know, we're talking about solutions in a way, or, you know, change, which could look like a solution.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, why would there be a change? Right? If something begs a change. And so then, when I had, just to go back a little bit, I had said, okay, spirituality must be the ultimate context breaker, where you can get out of every context and just have a freshness, a creativity.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then I'm saying, like, okay, all the spirituality, so much of it, in a way, it seems like people are believing that the solution is just walking away from the problem. Sort of.
No, I'd say exactly.
Isn't it like that, though?
Yeah, I'm sure people do, particularly in the economic system.
Well, not only that. I mean, don't they just say, well, I got a problem, blah blah blah. You know, well, is it here right now? Right. Oh, when I go to being, it's not here. You know. And I go along day by day, and this problem comes up, and then I just go to being, you know. But so apparently the problem keeps coming up.
Yeah.
So that they're not really, so then it must not be deconstructing. Or are we just saying it's chipping away, or it's partially deconstructing, or that's the way to deconstruct problems, is just to sidestep them? Or not to, I mean...
No, I think it's to face them head on and really spend some time being in it and looking at it and allowing it to totally encompass you and
well, the feeling of it, you should feel it, right? So in that case, you should face it right on, but you're not really supposed to make a plan on building a new world order or a new economic system, right? Or wrong, because that would be in the same context. And then I don't know what happens. I think there's a hocus pocus belief